And there is a recent investigation into the organic food market. Under the 2002 law, only foods that are at least 95% organic are certified and carry that USDA organic label. But now some critics are saying that that label is not worth the paper it's printed on because the agency has allowed too many loopholes. I'm joined by Lindsay Layton, who wrote about this for the Washington Post, and Urvashi Rangan, technical director for the Consumers Union, and she joins us today also. Good to have both of you with us. Lindsay, I'd like to talk to you first about the article you wrote. Very well written article and somewhat shocking because when I, as a mom, go to the grocery store, I see organic, I think pure. You say not.
Well, that's right, Nancy. And actually, most of the consumers who buy organic foods are moms. That's a huge segment of the purchasers of this food. And yes, you think when you see that USDA green and white label that says organic, you're thinking no pesticides, no synthetics, no chemicals, as pure as we can get it. But actually, since the creation of a lot of these processed foods, crackers, cookies, cake mixes, organic cake mixes, we found that that there are at least 5% of that product is non-organic, and an increasing amount of synthetics are permitted in that 5% of the product.
Urvashi, do you think consumers know this?
We've been spending the last 10 years educating consumers about what organic means and what it doesn't mean. And it's not a black and white issue in the sense that there are plenty of fresh organic products like produce, meat, a lot of the dairy products that do in fact meet a pretty high organic bar, and it's a meaningful label. When it comes to the processed foods, you're losing a little value for a lot of the reasons Lindsay just talked about. And when it comes to some products like personal care products or fish, there simply aren't rigorous enough standards in place.
Urvashi, I was surprised because although I know these are, icons of American companies, Kraft owns Boca Foods, Kellogg owns Morningstar, Coca-Cola has a 40% interest in Honest Tea. You see those little niche brands, you think they're cute, they're pure, but in fact, very large corporations have a big financial stake here.
They are large corporations, and they do have a large financial stake. It's why they got interested in the organic market to begin with. But I think the key issue here isn't who's involved in organic. It's what do they have to do in order to get that seal. And that lies squarely with the U.S. Department of Agriculture and their proper safeguarding of the regulations and the standards that are required that have to be met. Their differences in opinion and waivers and exceptions over the last 10 years indicate that really the fixing up needs to be done right at home with the USDA in making sure that those standards are safeguarded.
It's interesting, and Lindsay, I'd like to turn this to you. I was surprised, frankly, that it falls under the USDA. I thought this would be the FDA, and increasingly, I'm confused as to who's in charge of what.
Well, that's true, Nancy. Actually, that's a big debate that's going on in Washington right now because regulation of food products is so dispersed. It's spread over 15 different federal agencies, and there's a lot of confusion and duplication. But Urvashi's right. This program sits squarely within the USDA, but it's interesting to note that it's within a marketing division of the USDA. And the folks who have been running this program, which has only been around for 7 years, think of it as a marketing program, not necessarily as a protecting the integrity of the label. Their aim is to try to expand the label onto as many products as possible.
So bottom line from both of you, what is a consumer supposed to know when he or she walks into that grocery store?
What you should know is that you want to stay on the outer aisles to get the most value. The fresh produce, the meat, the dairy, those things are going to offer you the most value. As you get to processed food, and the more processed that it is, organic junk food is still junk food. And when it comes to things like personal care products and fish, make sure you do a lot of checking. Fish doesn't have any standards right now. The USDA has still been allowing the organic claim to be made on those packages. So don't bother spending the extra money. For personal care products, if they have a lot of water as their first ingredient, water is exempt. There may also be synthetic ingredients in those products, so you need to do your homework in order to figure out if you're getting and you're paying more for what you expect.
It's enough to make you move back to your own farm and do it all yourself. Lindsay Layton and Urvashi Rangan, thanks so much for both of you being with us today. We must say we also did reach out to the USDA, and it says the USDA has said that it is already working on the National Organic Program, and also known as the NOP. It wants to make it stronger, and it may announce that the NOP would become its own division and would have been budget and staff increased to weed out the bad actors. The program will also be subjected to an outside audit to make sure it's doing the best job possible. This conversation absolutely not over.